Hi guys, we are back and we are going to be talking about parallelograms. And we want to, by the end of this hour, know how to find the area and the area and the perimeter of a parallelogram. So this is a parallelogram, and before we go too far, I want to explain to you what that means. That means that the top and bottom are parallel. Those lines will go on forever and ever and ever, and they will never touch. Same with the sides. The sides will go on forever and ever and never touch. Squares and rectangles are special parallelograms. They're special because their corners are 90 degrees, and you can see this is a small angle. It's not 90 degrees. Where rectangles and squares, the corners are 90 degrees. All four of them are 90 degrees. So it's important for you to know that because they are parallelograms. This one is a parallelogram. Again, the sides will never touch, but these corners are not all 90 degrees. I say that's really important because I'm going to show you where the formula comes from and why it works, and then I'm going to show you the formulas. So if I take this parallelogram, I'm going to do the best I can to make a straight up and down 90-degree cut to make this parallelogram. So I have this triangle. If I take this and put it on the other side, it makes a rectangle. So we learned last week that area of a rectangle is the length times the width, and the perimeter is just the side plus the side plus the side plus the side. When you have a parallelogram, they're going to give you three numbers because you need to know the length, you need to know the width, but you need to know the side as well when you're doing the perimeter. Okay, so now that you know what that is, let's go ahead and we'll scoot over and let's look at our first problem. So our first problem, get a good pen. Again, it's a parallelogram. When they give you parallelograms, they're going to give you, they could name it anything they want. We'll say A, C, and the height is an H. Sometimes they'll do this in different colors. Usually they do it dotted lines like that. Remember how I told you it doesn't matter what the length, width, what numbers or what letters we use. The area is going to be the length times the width. So if I told you that A equals 5.44 yards and C equals 8.8 yards and H equals 5.2 yards. How long is it and how wide is it? Well, let's look. It's this tall, so I'm going to call this the length. We're going to call H the length on this. 5.2 yards times how wide is it, which is the C, 8.8 yards. Now, you could be using a calculator. This is a little bit easier, but we're not going to have a calculator all the time on our tests. So I suggest you practice doing it by hand. We're going to ignore our decimals. We'll multiply, and 8 times 2 is 16, carry my 1. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 1 more is 41. I'm done with the first 8, so I'm going to put a 0 here. 8 times 2 is 16, carry the 1. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 1 more is 41. I'm going to add these together, 6, 7, 5, 4. And there are two numbers behind the decimal, so we want 2 numbers behind the decimal. Our area is 45.76 yards. Remember what I said? Yard times yard is yard squared. Area, square area. Next thing we've been asked to do is find the perimeter. Perimeter is the side plus the side plus the side plus the side. So we have C plus A plus C plus A. So 8.8 plus 5.44 plus 8.8 plus 5.44. Notice I lined my decimals up. Here's a perfect example why it's important to be neat. This 8484, now I have nothing. Instead of nothing, I'm going to put a 0 there. And that helps it so it's all lined up nice and neat. That's super important to do. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12, plus 8 is 20, plus 4 is 24. Carry my 2. 2 plus 8 is 10, plus 5 is 15, plus 8 is 23, plus 5 more is 28. And my decimal just comes straight down when we're adding. So my perimeter is 28.48 yards. Why didn't I put the square there? Because when I do yard times yard, it's yard squared. But when I just add yards, they just stay there. So perimeter is a single, area is a square, and I'll give you a hint for the future, volume is a cube. So try to keep this in mind when you're doing it. And then it's going to ask you the type. And right now, our type is all parallelograms. So it's just, I want you to name these and get in the habit of looking at the picture and naming them. Let's try another one.